Hello, my name is Rasha from Studio 1405 at the library, and today I'll be showing you how I take good quality photos using only an iPhone. The same iPhone that I am using right now to record this intro. For this demonstration, I will not be using the usual DSLR camera today. Instead, I'll be using my iPhone 11. And I know that the iPhone 11 is a bit newer phone with better quality, but the concepts I will be teaching you today still apply to past generations, both in Apple phones and Android. Next, I will be showing you a few examples of photos I've taken over the years, and a few that are recent examples used for this video. The tools and concepts I will be sharing with you will be relevant to both photography and video recording. First thing I'm going to go through is the different aspect ratios or framing that you can use. You have the standard 4:3 that the camera defaults to, the 16:9, which is a wider aspect ratio and more prevalent for filmmaking. Any video recording, you'd want it to be in the wider, horizontal 16:9 aspect ratio. And then here you have the square option, which isn't available for video, but is for photography. It's just a 1:1. The aspect ratio you choose to go with also impacts the composition. For example, I recommend the 16:9 for landscape photos. That is so that you can show the vast and unending space in the world that you are trying to photograph. For taking photos of a person, the square or 4:3 is the best suited. At the end of the day, however, it is all up to you and what your vision is. Now, if you place your finger on part of the screen, you can see a square outline pop up. This is the focus point. The camera will focus on wherever the square outline pops up, leaving the rest a bit blurred. Now, when you press on there, you can see a sun icon show up, and that is the exposure setting. You can get to it from the settings tab or just by holding down on a spot in the frame and drag your finger up or down. Up for more exposure and down for less exposure. Now, what most people look for or admire about portrait style photography is that there's a bokeh. That is when the background is soft and out of focus, whereas the foreground or main subject is sharp and in focus. You basically get that nice blurred background. DSLR cameras are really good at capturing those style of photos, and a great lens can capture a great bokeh. But this can be done with your phone too. Move your subject that you want in focus further away from the background. The gap between the two will allow less light to be exposed on the background and will cause it to be out of focus or blurred compared to the subject in the front. You can see this example in the flower photo that I took here. After all of that, there is still more that you can do with your photo. Here you can see that the camera is also equipped with profiles. These are preset filters that change the exposure, hue, and tone of the photo. I prefer you not use the profiles and just make the changes manually later, but they do help your image to pop if you don't have the means to edit after. As mentioned before, the same concepts and settings are used for taking videos on your phone as well. However, as I said, the aspect ratio for the video should be 16:9, unless you're going for the old traditional 4:3 effect. You can still adjust the brightness and the focal point by pressing down on a section in the frame. You can also zoom in and out. A helpful tool to have set in your camera are gridlines. They will help you achieve the rule of thirds, which states that the most important elements in a scene should be placed along the grid lines or at the intersections where the lines meet. Now, usually they are already on and showing in your camera, but if they happen to not be, like mine weren't, all you have to do is go into your settings, go find the camera tab or photos and camera, and make sure to toggle the grid lines section on. Now, every phone might be different, so make sure to look it up if you don't find it that way. Here is a video I took as an example a while ago late at night. No matter what your image is or what you're trying to portray, you need some sort of light in a video. Here, I have the fire acting as that source of light for me. You can see only the subject is in focus and lit by the fire. Even though it's so dark, there is no noise or grain that can really be seen. That is because I ended up turning down the exposure. You would think that I would need to turn it up since it's dark, but the fire is enough to do what it needs to do, and if we turn up the exposure, as you can see here, you will begin to see the video pixelated with a lot of noise. So for that reason, in most cases, for both photo and video, it is much better to turn down the exposure and let the natural light or even motivated light out there to really make the video or photo shine. Now I want to go over some free apps on your phone that you can download and use to edit your photos and videos to enhance their quality. One of those is Snapseed. It's a simplified photo editing app that you can use to enhance photos and apply digital filters. Those digital filters are like the profiles we saw in the camera settings before. For video, you can use Adobe Premiere Rush, an app version of Premiere Pro used for editing videos. It also allows you to edit your videos right from your device, but because of that, you are limited in what you can do, but the basics of editing can be achieved. Another one is iMovie, which a lot have heard of. It's another app for video editing, and unlike Premiere Rush, it is only accessible in the Apple Store, but both enable for simple video editing capabilities. Now, no matter what you may have at your fingertips, being creative can take your vision much further than any one camera can. So I hope in this lesson you've learned how much your phone can do for you and use them to your advantage.